Hey guys, and welcome back to Rice
Unwashed.
Woo! My name is Mikey.
I'm Jay Wang.
I'm Dennis. Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back. Guys, this is part 2 episode in the continuation of last week's episode on why is it hard for us men to express ourselves. So if you haven't seen last episode, we really recommend you watching it, but let's get into it.
Shall we?
Mikey, I think we finished off last week's episode about, being able to open up to friends, family, touching on understanding them more, but also being more self-aware. And I think one of the questions I had with that was, what if someone isn't aware or they don't know how to express themselves or be vulnerable?
Or even just acknowledge.
Right.
Yeah, that's fine because I'm the type that there's some things that I wasn't aware, but we sometimes in our life we need someone to point it out, and it sucks. It really sucks because a lot of people can't handle the truth. So sometimes you just kind of need that person to point it out, and that's the thing about I learned a lot about myself was my mum, because she'd point it out, and then of course I'll get angry or whatever or not or like upset, but then I have time to reflect, and I'm like fuck. Like, yeah, she's right. You know what I mean? Like, even when me and mum travel together and I'll be, a bit like, angry at her or like, because just certain things that you should do when you travel with your parents, you get a bit upset with your mum and then, or I remember, so this is a good example actually, whereas I was traveling that time with my family and my girlfriend. So I went to New Zealand. And I know that a time that was like raining, blah, blah, and it kind of ruined my plan. And I was just like fucking angry, like, yes, we're on plan, blah, blah. And I was being a complete jerk. And, of course my girlfriend was like upset too, but I was just being a jerk. And mum just pulled me aside, like, you're being basically a jerk right now. You know what I mean? Like, it's raining, so what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just...
Called you out.
Yeah, she called me out. Like, you don't need to be like this, you know what I mean? There's nothing you can really do. Just make the situation, better. And that's what then eventually I thought about. I'm like, yeah, like she's right. So then eventually now when if a situation I planned goes wrong, I'll take a positive side. Like, okay, let's do something else rather than me be a complete asshole and just like, nah, it's ruined my plan, fuck it, we're not doing it anymore. Like now I kind of like do something else. So it was good for my mum keep always pointing me out when I'm doing something wrong or like just the way I am, and then I kind of like learn more and more about it.
But there's a certain element of like you reflecting on what your mum has said to you, right? Thinking back on like what you actually did to make you aware that you're doing something wrong or you're not, maybe expressing your emotions in the right way. Like, yeah.
So, you didn't retaliate to it. So like you said, because it hurts.
It hurts.
Sucks.
It sucks, yeah.
The first point of acknowledgement or awareness is it might not be 100% the truth. It might not be exactly the way it is. But if someone you trust and someone you love points it out to you, there's something there. There's something to take away from there. So a lot of the people will retaliate or be offended or lash back in the first, but to become aware or acknowledge that you might have something that's piling up or that is like, do not retaliate first, step back and actually analyze that information.
Yeah.
Am I being an asshole?
Yeah.
Mate, probably.
And and to be honest, there's a lot of people out there that can't handle the truth. Or when you tell them like, oh dude, like, like you tell them the truth that how they are. That, oh, I'm not like that. I'm like, you are. Like, but and then or they get angry about it, or they don't talk to you anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's people out there.
Flashback.
Yeah, it's flashback. So yeah, it's the self-aware. You have to take constructive criticism.
Oh, constructive criticism.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and that's with me. Like, I'm happy to take it. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm doing something wrong, tell me. Okay, cool. Like, cool. I might not be like, I might kind of not fight back about it. I might not be happy about it, but then the more I'll think about it, I'm like, okay, no worries. Or maybe I came out wrong, and I'll try to express myself differently.
We're only human, right?
Yeah.
What about you, John? What's the tip to the first step of awareness or acknowledgement? What's something that's helped you?
Something to make me realize I'm not okay, or maybe I need to express how I feel. I think is really reflection on my thoughts and behaviors.
Okay.
Sometimes, again, we mentioned being overthinkers. I tend to think about the things that I do. Maybe there was a part of younger self, scared of judgment. So then I had to reflect back on what I did, in order to be better.
Yeah.
But part of that process is realizing, hey, like I feel a certain way. Like, why did I act that way? Like, if I was to lash out at someone, is it because it's coming from a certain place? Or, you know, what kind of emotions am I feeling? So by understanding that, you can then manage or control those emotions a bit better. So, you know, like the story that you just told, like instead of lashing out or like, you know, complaining about the rain, you'd be like, okay, well, it's raining. And because I'm aware of how I feel, then let's take a breather before I start talking to other people. Or if I needed to take a step away from the scene, the situation, do that to then control that emotion, right? Yeah.
So when I hear both these, you know, these steps to acknowledgement, is number one, you got to let your pride and ego go a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's the first thing.
Oh, 100%.
When someone opens up to you, you know, takes their time to go out of their way to talk to you, to kind of help you out, positively give you some criticism or feedback. Number one, let your pride and ego at the door,
100%.
and you go in there learning, or
Yeah.
you're about to receive some information.
Yeah.
And the second thing is sometimes you actually have to get away from the situation so that you can. This is a good side of overthinkers. Actually analyze your
Analyzing.
thoughts.
Yep.
Actually think back. Why did I say that? Why do I have this consistent pattern of certain things? That's really good. It's like that's some real good tips on like self-awareness and acknowledgement, because sometimes we're just too busy. Well, we have the excuse that we're too busy.
You know what? I also think having alone time really helps because you guys know me. Last few years I've been very, very social. You know, there was 1 year where I could count a handful of times I was at home.
Yeah.
But in recent times, I've actually had a lot more time to myself. You know, because of your program, of course.
Yes.
But
Forcefully made him social.
just having to, you know, eat meal prep and eat healthy. But anyways, having time alone gives you space to think about certain things on yourself, by yourself.
So some alone time.
Yeah, to analyze those thoughts, to analyze actions, and then to realize, hey, like maybe you're not okay, or maybe I need to express my emotions in a different way. You know, I think that's pretty crucial too. Because sometimes if you're always on the go, you're doing something, you just don't, you don't
think about it.
you don't think about it. You don't
think
have
about it.
time to think about it.
Can't possibly say that you have the time or energy to do that.
Yeah,
This is all time and energy.
it is. You have to work on it. Yeah.
It's a self-developmental thing, right?
Yeah.
Because something that's really helped me to know that I'm not okay right now. Because, you know, standard alpha mentality, I just kept sweeping it on the rug, and to the point that the rug was no longer a rug. It was a mountain of like toxic
Oh
emotions
man,
and feelings, right?
it's Mount Everest. Yeah.
What I did personally was I started to analyze my weekly pattern. So going back a few years, and I'm talking maybe about 5 years, actually maybe just past COVID, or I had this very, very bad rut where nothing I thought could make me happy. So family was in a bit of, you know, we had some internal conflict. Obviously, like the parents were always constantly fighting. I hated my job. I literally just, every time I go to work, I would suffocate. I would want to run out, you know, that kind of thing. I hated the way my body was, you know, like I just come out of a massive surgery and injury. Like there's just nothing seemed to be working. But every time I open up to someone, because our family's in a bit of a financial hard time as well, every time I open up to my parents, they're like, what are you doing? Stop wasting time. Let's go make more money. And I understand we had to survive. The first priority was to become financially stable again. So constantly on the run, constantly on the work. And because of these things, I started to just go, yep, just shut up and do it. Shut up and do it. And shut up and do it. And in the end, I did shut up. I became really distant from my family and stuff. So my weekly pattern would be during the week, hating every day I go to work, getting up like 5 minutes before I have to actually go to work, never presenting myself properly, just doing the work, hating it, no passion, whatever. And then come the weekend. Fuck me. Dopamine. I just wanted something to make me feel alive again. Friday night, finish work, drop the car somewhere, straight out of Uber, just chugging down piss, going to any club I can find, finding any weekend rave I can find, going down, flying back like a few hours before. It was just a really terrible, vicious cycle. Because the only thing that could make me feel happy was substances, money, spending, anything that could give me a quick rush, right? For me, looking at my body reflects my lifestyle.
True.
Your physicality, I'm not talking about illnesses, I'm not talking about those extreme circumstances. Your daily pattern reflects how you look. It's the way it is. You are what you eat, the amount of activity, the amount of work you put into yourself, the grooming, everything, that's how much you love yourself, right, in a way. And I could just see this monster in the mirror. And somebody who had body dysmorphia, this was scary. Because I went from body dysmorphia to being an athlete and then going back to where I was. I was just going in circles. I hated this. So the first thing I had to do was look at myself without a filter. I had to see myself for who I am and what I am now. And that was scary. And once I acknowledged it and I was aware how disgusting what I saw was and how disgusting my lifestyle was, that's when I started to do small little wins. All right, don't go out Friday night and Saturday night. Just meet up with your friends once, etc. So I think for me, a tip to the listeners is if you want to become self-aware, break that week first. If you feel shit by Monday, something's wrong. You want to start and end your week on positives. So number one, analyze your actual daily pattern or your weekly pattern and break any cycles to become aware of how you are right now.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt last year.
Right.
Yeah, just, felt so content with life. And, we're always, always hanging out, all of us, going to, every event. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Last year was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was just a vicious cycle. We slow down on certain events, but then it was just more of boys, let's drink, you know what I mean, substance, and it was just we're not as young as we used to, so the recovery is a lot worse. You know what I mean? Because I'm feeling tired Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
It's like a weekly recovery now.
And I'm just and I'm finally feeling better on the Thursday or Friday, wherever it is. I'm oh yeah, I'm going gym. So I only gym for 2 days. I'm feeling good, and then the boys were yeah, boys' night. Let's let's have a drink. Yeah, I'm in. It's just and then that cycle just keeps happening. Or I finally have 1 week off, I'm gonna stay home, do nothing. And then the week after, it's a birthday. Or it's a party. It's this.
There's always something.
It's always something. It's always a fucking birthday.
Screw everyone. Why are you born?
Yeah, it's just fuck. It's just that vicious cycle. Over and over again last year, and I felt so fucking fat and gained so much weight, and especially came back from the Philippines this year, or even at the Philippines, I was just I was talking to my friend to Luke, and I was just I feel I haven't been comfortable with my body for so long, you know what I mean, and that's just it's just constantly that's what's happening, right? And I finally thought about it, I'm yep, after the Philippines, come back, put my head down, lock it in, just don't want to I'm not saying don't go out, but just don't want to drink anymore, stay away from the drinking, because I think that was affecting my mental health quite heavily, was the drinking. And and of course money as well, finance as well, because it takes a toll. It takes a toll, because it's you're buying this, you're buying substance, you're buying everything. It's fuck, it's just everything just adds up. So that's why this year and of course jumping on the dentist program at the moment and just keeping me having dentists to keep me accountable as well, to able just to stay clean right now, just eating well, training hard, man, gymming every day now. Feel
time to mess up.
That's right. It feels good, but it's just remember just thinking about just look at my body. I'm just so upset.
It's awareness of how that pattern you have is reflecting on you physically and mentally. And on your soul. There's no recovery.
Because the year before, remember, ice bath. Every week.
With ice bath.
Yeah, with ice bath. We went a long time. You know what I mean? I got ice bath at home. Because that's the reason why we did it. I did the ice bath back then. It was a mental game, because I want to build that strength up in my mental. Because I remember sitting there all cold, but as long as you're focused, you're it was good. Man, every couple of weeks, ice bath. There's a reason why I got this tattoo. Mind over matter. I have a mind over matter on my legs. So
To post a photo for the camera.
Put your knee there, right? Stand up and just put it on there.
So these are you're saying a lot of these a habit forming to be a solution for able to sort of go through the hard times, right?
Yeah.
Look, can definitely relate. I think on the same page in terms of going through a certain period where things were done the same, but again, for me personally, I was going through some personal stuff. I think you boys know about. And I wasn't in a good place, and so a lot of times it was just if I'm living on my own, it's just me, myself, and I, and so you're just stuck with those thoughts. Being aware of those thoughts is one thing, but then
demons.
So many demons. But then what am I doing with those thoughts, right? I can either sit there and play with them and just let them consume me, or I can do something about it, because I don't want to be in this place. The place is not. It's not nice. It's dark. It's not good for me. And the further you go into that place, the deeper it gets. You know what I mean?
There's no end.
Like you guys.
Yeah.
The spiral is just non-ending.
The spiral is it's tough. And so, I think one thing I said to a friend recently is like, there has to be some form of habits you build around to get you out of it.
Yes.
In order to be in a better place. But the hard part is getting to form those habits. I think the distance seems almost far and wide. The gap
from awareness to solution.
That's right.
It's just so big.
Because quite often you'll start doing something, like you said, you gym two days a week, and then you fall back into the habit because something happens or something pulls you back. There's always temptations, right?
How easy is it to break out of, right?
Yeah. And so I don't know, maybe the mindset is just to like push a bit further, because deep down is what you needed, right? Like it's what I needed, So I since this year, I think I've been on pretty good behavior.
You've been, I can tell. I track his daily tasks religiously.
And admittedly, there's still times where I'm slacking off. Like I do have my bad days.
We're human,
as we mentioned. We're human, but doing whatever you can to get yourself out of it is going to be the challenge.
And that's all mental.
It's all mental.
That's all mental.
It's willpower.
Yeah, that's all willpower. Yes. It's to break that habit. It's all mental game.
It's mind over matter.
Mind over matter. Yeah, mind over matter. To stop eating bad. It's all in your head. You know what I mean? Like everything's always in your head. That's why when I was doing ice bath so much, I just want to train that, able to overcome. Overcome. And cold showers. I'm back at cold showers too this year, so I've been doing cold showers again. So for the viewers that know, 2 years ago I was in cold showers for a year and a half.
Yeah, that's right. You had that big.
I had a year and a half with actually no hot water whatsoever.
The build would be so good.
Yeah, and I think that time too, Brisbane had the coldest. It was the coldest year or whatever.
Tough guy.
Yeah. Finding it, right?
Alpha male.
It was so cold in Brisbane.
Kick him out of the podcast.
Water's still warm, man.
Kick him out of the podcast.
Yeah.
Nah, it's actually pretty impressive.
It is. That's actually
so I did it every single day. Didn't touch hot water whatsoever. Cold shower. When I flew Sydney, flew Melbourne, wherever I flew, it was just cold shower every day.
Even after raves.
After rave, cold shower, man, it's just, that was my goal was 1 year, and then when I hit it, I was like, oh, I actually hit it. I was like, I might as well just keep continuing.
Can we completely explain to some of these viewers, because some of you guys might think, what the fuck, cold shower?
What's a cold shower?
You're crazy.
Yeah.
We've heard that many times.
Sounds stupid.
What's the benefits of cold showers?
Benefits is more, I think, if I remember correctly, is, it's a mental thing. Definitely build your mental willpower there.
Because it is a very uncomfortable thing if you're, on a winter day, you get up in the morning, first thing you do is a cold shower.
Yeah.
Like, that would be very, very tough.
Sucks.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, this smack bang, just to make you awake, but also mental power to be able to stay in that uncomfortable environment.
Of course. Like, and I think it's just, for me, it was more the why I did it was the willpower, just to able to like not think and just do it. And of course, like a lot of benefits, like like soft inflammation, skin, better sleep. It's just if you don't know much about it, just look into it, and it's amazing because we loved it, and of course did it every day. But I still remember because you get used to it, but the first time you'll stand there for like 10, 30 seconds, whatever, just, should I go in? Should I go in? I don't even. I got this. And you're like, like, run in, but eventually, like, man, like, I think half a year, whatever I got into it, I don't even think about it anymore. Just turn on,
That's the
walk in.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even now, like, because I'm back into it, just turn in, go in. Oh,
It's like washing your hands now, right?
Yeah.
You don't think about what the temperature of the water is. You
Yeah,
just go wash your hands.
just go in. Yeah. No, it's good. So we did a lot of that a couple of years back, and
It's amazing.
It was really good. Yeah, so many benefits too. I've actually been doing also probably consistently for the last 6 months. I do it only in the morning because
Wake up.
when I wake up, first thing, brush my teeth and then straight in a cold shower. It's really good. It does also increase your dopamine for the day, and not having to rely on like things like social media. Like it's like a positive dopamine boost.
Yeah.
I think that's how you say it. I don't know, but essentially, it makes me feel more energetic as well. But also increase, muscle recovery and also boost metabolisms and things like that, right? So,
and productivity, because
productivity,
because mental clarity, because
Wake up.
yeah, like I actually felt like I get more work done.
Right.
Yeah, when I have a cold shower, going to work, I'm like, man, like you feel, that dopamine kick it's hard, like it's really good.
but a lot of that is, if you really think about it, it is being in an uncomfortable space, but pushing yourself, again, the willpower part, pushing yourself to do something more than what you normally would do. And so I think like it's something I've thought, it's a term that I use, to help anyone come out of this pattern. I call it breaking pattern.
Breaking pattern, yeah.
Essentially, if you were to, let's just say you're not in a good place and you're just doing the same things over and over again, you have to do something completely different than you would normally would. Something different to your routine, and this could be many things in terms of your behavior, the way you talk, or your experiences in life. Like you could be doing 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, Monday to Saturday, whichever, and you might gym 2-3 times a week, but during that week you can do things that might help you put yourself in a different space, and it could be something as simple as eating at a different restaurant, trying a new type of food, do something adventurous, go for a hike or go to a place you've never been to, explore a bar or
So you're saying like out of your comfort zone.
out of your comfort zone.
Pull yourself out of that neutral zone that you're always in.
Yeah.
Because obviously a lot of those factors that you surround yourself with causes those behaviors.
Correct.
So if you just go and chuck yourself over into somewhere else,
Yeah.
you might break
If
that
you want, you
pattern.
could do skydiving even, like some extreme stuff. But again, just pulling yourself out of the usual routine and into an uncomfortable place can break that pattern.
Yeah. Well, that's how you grow. Out of the comfort zone that's where you grow. Yeah, because you never got to grow in your comfort zone.
It's a
Very
right type of
cliche,
pattern.
but it's very, very true.
Yeah, it's never
right
grow.
type of
Yeah, I hate like with work. I hate doing presentations, but because my boss makes me do it so much, man, I'm always doing this quarter management review and staying in front of the board presenting. Now I'm getting more and more comfortable at it, but I still like sweat. Like,
of course.
still like. Oh, fuck,
But you're
like,
growing.
Yeah, but I'm growing. But it's just a lot easier now in talking in front of like a lot of people. This and that. So
Well, I feel like this is going to be really helpful for now. Obviously we've talked about tips on how to become self-aware. Number one, figure out the problem. Am I feeling a bit off, or do I need to break a certain routine? These are really good tips or solutions to now start expressing those feelings, or maybe dissipating those feelings in positive ways if talking about the emotion is not your thing. Right? What are some other things that have personally helped you guys out?
gymming.
Gymming?
Yeah, gymming. Yeah. Like, because I love being active, and that's probably what able to, get you. Even if you're not the type to sit at home and reflect.
Yep.
People out there like love to play sports, or whatever. That's how they can probably reflect to, or have what we call it, or go for a run just to like
Clarity.
Yeah, clarity. Yeah. Jacking off. Clarity.
So, what we want to kind of put out here is we can get dopamine from these things. It was funny how you said a positive dopamine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are a lot of traps to make yourself get rid of these emotions or stress, right? Which is, well, let's make a term: negative dopamine rush. Okay. Short-lived bursts of dopamine, things like I talked about: drinking, substances, partying, jerking off, gambling.
I don't think jacking off is negative.
So what we're saying is, all these things used in moderation can help. If you want to go for a drink with your boys and talk about things or whatever, yes, do it. But don't get wasted to the point you don't remember what you talked about.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean? So a lot of these hobbies or stress outlets can be double-edged.
Yeah.
That if you use it in certain moderation in certain ways, it can become a tool. But in a way, it can become an addiction.
Yeah.
Which we should avoid. So, step one, try to walk away from any of those addictive type of dopamine rushes, which is very short-lived.
Yeah.
Gambling, gaming,
Drinking,
drinking, substances, partying.
Believe it or not, even doom scrolling.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
my God, TikTok.
Who's guilty? Oh shit!
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, actually, the only thing, funny enough, I actually breaking that habit a bit more now because of my coach over here makes me do 10,000 steps a day. So when I get home from work late at night, and I have to go for a walk, and that's the only time I have to, because rather than me just staying at home after work just scrolling, now I'm just like, fuck, I gotta do my fucking walk, and then I'll get my steps up, and I'll just go, and then I'm off my phone. I'm just listening to music.
Which is another solution.
Yeah, it's another solution. It's so simple, but it's
gives you task.
Yeah, but then with the time I get home, I'm having a shower. It's late, then I'll go to bed, or okay, fine, I can scroll for a bit, then go to bed, rather than me scrolling for an hour before and have a shower and scrolling again, then bed. You know what I mean? So it's cutting, it's limiting me at the moment, and it's good.
It's like a few hours of a day you've now used on yourself.
More myself. Yes.
It's setting.
It's so simple.
Physical goals.
It's so simple, but it's it's working. So, yeah, no, it's I agree.
Any other ways?
I was going to ask you because you're our coach, and
Yes.
what's your take? Like you mentioned gymming, but what's your take on exercise in general? How does is that something that has helped you?
I believe, like I said, I'm a very strong believer in that the physicality of someone represents either the mentality or whatnot. Even in negative ways. For example, if you're too focused on it and that's all you do, and that kind of stuff, that could also be a reflection of your self-image. Like you need to have abs to feel confident. It's not about that. What I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm more talking about that the lifestyle you have reflects, how you look. And I'm not talking about shredded 4% body fat. I mean, being comfortable in your own skin.
Yep.
In order to do that, I believe you need a certain structure or routine to break out of bad patterns or temptations, or even just to be able to have time to yourself where you mentally fortify yourself, okay? Or even just be able to process those times and things. For example, when we're going on our walks and stuff like that, that's the time when you stop doing this, you turn on some music, and you're just walking to yourself, listen to music, you can process these thoughts. How was my day? How am I feeling at the moment? When you go to the gym as well, as you improve, you see yourself get stronger, or as your body starts to change, you start to lose weight. For people who want to lose weight, you become more confident. Okay, you stop giving a fuck about what other people think about me, or and stuff like that. So having a physical, whether it be the gym, soccer, badminton, social sports, whatever, having something physical there to be able to physically output your stress is, I think, a really big thing for men, especially. Because a lot of the times we take anger, well, not a lot of times, sorry, but for some bad examples is anger can sometimes become violence. In order to prevent that, you need, as males, we are still animals in a way. In order to get that testosterone out of us, we need something physical and hardening to get us out of that. So I feel like, in a way, for people who are struggling, pick up something and let that time be for you. I don't think the gym is my daily task. That's something I want to do, and that's what I do, and it makes me happy. And it's not like gambling or something where I'm losing something. I'm actually gaining the whole time. Literally, that's
So much gains.
So much gains, right? Yeah. So, but any other solution-based things or tips that you could give to the listeners?
And of course, it's always seek professional help as well. Yeah, you know what I mean. If people out there not the type to exercise or whatnot to express their feelings, there's seeking help with professionals. Because I did as well. I did more with Reiki. So if you guys don't know, that's more of a spiritual kind of way after a breakup that I had. So I was very depressed. This is going back maybe 8 years ago, whatever. So yeah, I was very depressed for some time, and then yeah, my friends tried to get me out. I couldn't sleep. Blah blah. Yeah, just the typical, heartbroken. And then
Selenium and dabbing like in your face.
and then so a friend of mine introduced to Reiki. So I remember at that time, didn't know what it was. Went to do the session.
I've actually never heard of this either.
Oh, you know, whatever. Yeah, so it's
But
basically,
explain,
it's basically more of a spiritual kind of
Oh.
reading of your body. So rather than you talking to a
counselor or
yeah.
psychologist,
So legit, you lay there. You basically she's putting you to like a sleep kind of thing, and then she puts like these stones kind of on you, kind of thing.
It's got to relate to like your different chakra points in your body.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so basically she walk around the room, she's touching certain bodies or certain parts of your body. Okay. And pretty much like I kind of fell asleep, you know what I mean? Because you feel really relaxed, right? And you're there, I don't know, maybe like 40 now, I can't remember what exactly the time is. And I remember just waking up from that session, and then she sits me down, she's like, Mikey, and this is what she saw. All right, and she basically told me about my upbringing, but talked about my love language.
Wow.
Talked about the reason what she saw, why was my ex broke up with me, or how she saw that she was suffocating, this and that. I was like, and I just remember sitting there just bawling my eyes out, just crying. And then that's the time that I learned about love language and understanding more about myself, because I didn't realize so much about me or what I did or what I showed was all reflecting back from my dad.
Oh.
Yeah, so everything was leading all back from my dad. So I remember like from previous episode that because my dad's not my role model, and I always try to not be like him, and then it's crazy that because I was kind of like him, and then when she told me about what I was doing and what my love language was, and I was like, holy fuck, I'm doing what my dad is actually doing, because that's how my dad showed love, or that's what he did, and that's what I'm doing back, and it wasn't aligned with my partner at the time. And so it was pretty crazy. Like, it was a really good experience. And of course, the more sessions you do, she's like to me, like, you're like an onion. So the more sessions you do, the deeper she gets in, and the more you can understand yourself. And that's when I think after that session, that really changed my life from then. And that's when I really became a different person, like who I am now. I went out of my comfort zone, actually, and that's how I made so many friends now, because I went out of my comfort zone, just going to these random parties, I got invited, don't know anyone, and just trying to say hi and get along with people. Same thing, gym, all that, and that's who I am now. I think because of that session, it changed me. It changed me for the best.
You awakened.
Yeah, I was awakened, 100%. My love language changed, everything changed. Who I was when I was younger, I felt like, it's crazy. And now I'm more self-aware, because she kind of, it's like a random person, right? Kind of telling you, like, whoa,
who the hell?
Yeah, she told me all this, like, holy crap,
And it resonates with you.
Huh?
And it resonates with you.
Yeah, it resonated with me. I was like, oh, fuck. And maybe more self-aware. Since then, I was more self-aware about myself. Yeah, so I think, it definitely seeking help is just to learn about who you actually are. Yeah.
And I think
Have you had any? Go on though. Yeah.
Reiki I've done once.
Oh, okay.
Probably different experience. I didn't feel too much, and maybe at the time I wasn't very open. So I think
still have
something
that
like that,
more.
you have to be open to it.
Well, Reiki, I have a friend. She's doing it too, and because she asked her about her experience, and she basically she said that she didn't feel too much. Like, it was pretty service level kind of stuff. And I said to her, to be honest, it's probably because you're so closed off right now.
Still closed.
Yeah. Through Reiki, you have to be really open, because the more open you are, the more the Reiki person, were able to read.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I remember she was telling me the story that she went. I'm like, I think you need to go more, because that's how I felt.
Break
With
through.
her. Yeah, and then she's like, oh, that's what Julie, the person, said too. Like, she need to go, because the more you go, the more your body or your mind will open up, and then that's when she was able to read. So if you're really narrow-minded person, or just not a really closed-off person, Reiki's not the thing.
Yeah, and then, for some of you guys, you don't have to go Reiki. That's one avenue. I think the very common way, we're aware of counseling, go to a psychologist. I think that's pretty common.
I had counseling for about 8 months.
Yeah.
So I had a pretty long run with it. Had a mate who he was one of the guys who actually brought me out of that shell a little bit, because we have a very big, in the Asian community, stigmatism that counseling, psychologists, Reiki, shamans, shrinks, all this it's bad juju. They tell you if you go, you're sick. That's what they tell you. Like in Korea, they'll say it's a mental disease. Like that's how they kind of like translate it.
Yeah.
So when I went, I told no one. Didn't even tell my family. When I said I was going out, I said I'd gone to the gym because I was at home at that point. Because I really needed help. And it had changed physically, like you said, changed this mate. Of the way how he approached things. He would be, he seemed a lot more like flow with the water type guy now. So I was like, all right, I need that. Right now I'm rigid as a fucking stick. I will break if you snap me. So when I went, they ask you questions and they're very gentle about it. They don't ask probing questions. They let you talk first, and it's a little bit, like you said, it's more of like an interview type thing. They'll put you through and they'll just, they don't ever like say this is what it is. They're kind of like, well, that kind of suggests, that's the way they'll talk. And what they actually analyzed from me was, I don't think this is a proper term, but like the way that they described it was like I had superhero syndrome. Okay. And apparently a lot of guys have this. So what happens is we look for troubles to solve. We want to be a problem solver because as a provider and a male, we are there to solve the issue.
Oh my God, that resonates.
That resonates hard, right?
Looking for red flags?
No, this is because I was having relationship issues at the point. I would be going through very short-term relationships and having fights a lot and never figuring out what the problem was. And she was like, look, they never ask you to fix their problem. And here you are trying to fix a problem.
Yeah.
It's because as the role as a oldest son in an Asian family without like a very big fatherly figure, she's like, had to put on the cape. You had to put on the mask. You had to be Batman. You had to be Captain America for 20 plus years of your life. So when you put yourself in any other situation, you become another superhero when nobody asked you to be. So it's like Batman coming to a peaceful ass town and just beating up thugs for no reason, going, my life's so tough. And they're like, you're putting pressure on yourself that you don't need to. So we start ending up, what do? We look for red flags. We look for toxic things. We put ourselves in situations where we need to become the hero. So when you sit down and it's peaceful, it's disturbing. You can't handle the peace. Because that's not what you're designed to do. You're designed to be a weapon. So I was like, oh my God, I look for trouble. Not just, female relationships, but in life. I'm looking for something new. I'm looking to be stimulated in another way when I just needed some peace and fucking quiet. So that really helped me a lot. So for people who have that stigmatism that you think this is wrong, professional help in certain ways, it can be really good. Don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
You don't have to tell anyone. You don't have to tell anyone.
It's not a bad thing to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have friends, relationships, the couples that just married. Yeah, they do counseling. And I'm like, oh, why? They're like, oh, just because. Like, you know what I mean? They just want to keep their relationship,
going.
Yeah, going. Like, just in case. You know what I mean? Like, no, it's such a normal, common thing. To go to counsel these days or just seek help.
Yeah. I want to add to that because I personally actually have done it before.
Okay.
I personally didn't have a good experience.
Oh.
Yeah. I think this was during COVID, and for those who might be aware, there's an app called BetterHelp.
Yes.
Yeah, and so essentially it links you to psychologists, around the world. But for me personally, the time when I was going through what I was going through, I thought, I was so open to talking to psychologists. I expressed everything I wanted to talk about, open up my mind and my heart, and unfortunately, I think the person that I had didn't really reciprocate very well in terms of she was on her bed and like she was on her phone while I was.
That's just.
Wait, what?
Yeah. But I'm making a point here. So I didn't have a very good experience, but she was like, because this was during COVID, so everyone's at home, but she was literally on her bed in pajamas And like as I'm talking, I could see she's like on her phone, like
Texting.
you know, and she's writing notes on her laptop, but she's messaging. I'm like,
Still, that's so
man, this
bad.
is horrible. But I'm speaking on behalf of people who have tried it and haven't had a good experience and think, nah, it's not for me anymore.
not for me,
I don't have that mindset though. I would still now, if I need to, go to one because I think sometimes you might just get a bad psychologist.
Yeah.
You can't let one person.
You can't let one bad
affect
experience
you.
Might be
make it.
unlucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I need to try, you know, someone who
Be
has
open.
had bad experience, need to try another one. And sometimes I've heard cases of friends that have tried 2 or 3 to find the right one, you know, or even more. And yes, it is a bit of money, but at the end of the day, it's an investment in yourself, right? And so you have to find the right one that you resonate with, that you feel comfortable and safe to talk to. Yeah.
You know, don't let the money part scare you. Like with the training and that kind of stuff, what I try to explain to them is, if you're going to buy another piece of clothing that's going to make you feel better, you know, it's probably better to invest in yourself in other ways right now.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
right.
That's the negative dopamine investment versus a positive
Yeah,
investment.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So money, stigmatisms and stuff like that, don't let that hold you back. If you need help, you need help. And we're just trying to give you some outwards.
Yeah.
You know, that's a human-based one, obviously.
Yeah.
Is there any other... We talked about in the last episode, your relationship with your family.
Yeah.
That's a big one. If you've got a good relationship with your family, because I believe your sister as well.
Yep, I was going to say, yeah. So I think the most obvious one is turning to people that you know, that you trust.
You trust.
You ask, you know, who do we turn to? Like for me, my sister's probably a big factor. You know, I talk to her about everything. She talks to me about everything.
Yep.
We just have a very good relationship, you know, being able to share with each other. But, you know, really good mates, like obviously you guys.
Yep.
I turn to you guys when I need help, but also, you know, I have a really good mate in Sydney. I've known him since I was born. A good mate, Ed. Shout out Ed.
Hey, Ed.
But you know, like finding someone you can really trust and just be able to open up and feel safe, because
It's
you need an output. You know, you need to let it out sometimes, and you can't just hold it all in. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, same. Yeah, I have a cousin in Adelaide. Same thing. Shout out to Lee. Yeah, same. Anything I want to talk to, always give her a buzz. Same. Or we just chat.
Right.
Yeah. And same. Like blessed to have a mum if I'm upset. Mum, and of course all the boys. You know, like I know if I'm feeling down, and I know that one text like, "Hey boys, I want to have a drink tonight." I'm so upset. And I know every single one of them will rock up.
We'll rock.
It's
Well,
happened.
okay.
Like
It's happened a few
I had last time, remember? Yeah.
Happened to me
Yeah,
too.
happened
Yeah.
with
You guys
Dennis.
literally say, I think I literally just like bawled in front of you guys.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, because we got a message from our friend Jay Long on like Dennis
Shout out
needs
Jay
us
Long.
tonight.
Yeah.
And all of us like had plans. Like, yep, no, we dropped it. I remember I dropped it, came over, and that was it. We had like a really great night. Yeah, just chatting. Yeah, it was good.
Another one is obviously, look, this is hard for a lot of people, especially if the relationship isn't that deep. But if you do have a partner, you know, don't be scared to rely on them. They're a lot stronger than we think. Sometimes they're actually stronger than us, you know, with when it comes to this sort of thing. Because I feel like relying on, for me, obviously, Mishi, because they're so used to now expressing their feelings and stuff, they actually handle it probably better than we do, you know, in terms of that. So relying on someone, you know, whether it be friends or family or your partners, don't be afraid. They're not going to judge you. You know, these are the people that shouldn't judge you. And if they do, you need to start setting up some barriers in your life,
Yeah,
some
100%.
boundaries.
Yeah.
Healthy boundaries is a really, really big tip too.
So important. Yeah.
All right. So obviously the first one is, if you need to cut people out of your life, you need to cut people out of your life. I'm sorry, we're not in high school now. You know,
Yeah,
we
correct.
can't be the most popular. I have 450,000 friends on Facebook. Like, that's not our lives anymore. Move on, you know.
Yeah.
Keep the people that will listen to you and that are not afraid to tell us how it is. They will keep you accountable.
Yeah.
Keep those people in your life, you know. Also keep some hype people up too, you know.
Of course.
Keep
Combination
the
of
balance.
both.
Yeah, keep the balance. But learn to say no, or learn to distance yourself from people who do bring you back into that bad habit.
Yep.
Okay. Or you know those people who like really indirectly make you feel shit. Fuck, you know.
You can feel it. Like the
You can
energy
feel
around
it.
that is just, it's very negative, right?
I remember sometimes I'd be training, you know, getting ready for my comp, and I get these little, I call them silent bombs from like other competitors, where they look like they're complimenting your journey,
Yeah.
but they're really just sizing you up. And I'm just like, black. I can't do with you right now. So setting up those healthy boundaries with people, I think, is really, really important.
Yeah.
Anything else, boys?
Well, yeah, just cut off social media. I think.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, like a detox.
Yeah,
What do they
detox.
call
I think
Yeah.
that really helps. Like I usually go through a year where I'll like,
Oh yeah,
off.
J-Wayne
Yeah,
just
J-Wayne.
came back to Instagram.
yeah, well, yeah. But usually I usually cut off for like 3 to 4,
You do.
5 months.
Yeah.
And it really does help. It sort of helps you realign with where you need to be in your goals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and just mental clarity again. I think when you get into the habit of doom scrolling, you tend to fall into this space, and it's just like you're constantly going back to it again, bad habits again. So getting off it sometimes just helps you refocus and puts you back on the right path of what you need to do. Yeah.
I think a few things that we had actually previously talked about before even the podcast was certain other podcasts or books that have helped us get through too.
Yep.
Yep. A few suggestions. Obviously, probably the most famous one, How Not to Give a Fuck. That actually,
The subtle art of not giving a fuck.
yeah, the subtle art of not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
See, I didn't give a fuck about the title. That actually is a good read. I'm not gonna lie.
I heard it on the audiobook.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
I really should stop giving a fuck.
Yeah. Personal development books, right? Like
Those do help.
And if you're not a reader, you can go audiobooks, you can go
Podcast?
podcasts. Like I personally listen to Diary of a CEO, Chris Williamson, and Andrew Huberman. Just wealth of knowledge there on how to get better in life. Things to learn about dopamine, things to learn about neuroscience. It's actually really, really interesting. But yeah, these are things that help me also encourage me to do better.
Do better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Any other hints or tips, guys?
No. Well,
I think that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot, yeah.
Like we said, first things first, figure it out, acknowledge it.
acknowledge it.
Awareness
Yeah.
that you need to go through. And then, just small wins. Don't try to change yourself in like a span of a week or two.
No,
Yeah.
that's not gonna work.
If the habits don't form in a few months, you ain't gonna change. You've lived your life 20, 30, 40, 50 years plus years like now.
Yeah.
You can't expect, it's like a diet. You can't expect to just change like that.
It takes time.
It takes time.
Next time.
But look, we're obviously here too.
Yeah.
That's right.
If anyone wants to reach out to us, reach
Yeah.
out to us.
Right.
Why hang out? Hang out. Actually come a day and just hang out with us.
Just hang out with us.
Yeah.
Honestly.
100%. Yeah. Like.
We'll all be eating chicken and rice, but still come. Still
yeah.
come.
Yeah. So no, we're happy to.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Thanks so
Well,
much for listening, guys. We really hope you enjoyed that. Again, it really meant a lot for us, so we wanted to share that with you.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Hopefully
Oh.
it helps, a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
There will be also more episodes like this. We'll delve into other deeper topics as well.
Yeah.
But
But we're also open to leaving certain actual issues or events or experiences that you've had that we might be able to actually resonate with,
Yeah.
and then talk about how we might have gotten over that too. So please leave a lot of comments.
yeah,
Don't feel shy. Feel safe. The reason why we opened up about our personal faults and experiences today was so that you guys can too.
yeah,
That's the whole point. We wanted to build that trust today.
Cool.
absolutely.
All right, guys. Thank you
All
for
right.
listening.
Thank you.
See you back next time. Rice.
Unwashed.